We know he got arrested and he went through LaGuardia. It was with an Arizona tea can full of marijuana. I call it twisted tea, basically because it was twisted. But then I was reminded that twisted tea is actually like a real tea. But anyway,
twisted tea is alcohol.
It's an alcoholic beverage?
Yes. Arizona tea is like the 99-cent one.
Interesting. So did he think the Arizona tea can was like if it didn't have, never mind, I'm not going to get to it. Point is, you don't have to go out and be D'Angelo Russell and try to hide your marijuana anymore. I don't know if y'all realize this, but marijuana is literally legal in 10 states, including, so this is not a state, but it's the 11th place it's legal. And I'm talking about for recreational use. I'm not talking about for medical. I'm talking about anybody that's over the age of 21 that just wants to go buy it, fire it up, and have a good old time. 10 states and the District of Columbia, which is a little weird. And it's kind of like drives me crazy when you think about it. The people in Washington are the very single ones who made a federal ban on marijuana and, made it a Schedule 1 and say it has no medical value. Yet they're the ones who also just said that it's great for seizures and passed the law on that and let them do that. And if they want to, they can go pass a law on marijuana while they go down to the street and buy some marijuana. So that's just so weird to me about the whole District of Columbia being a marijuana friendly city. That is just, to me, so weird. But if you want to go, so the TSA, believe it or not, has made me laugh. So they sent me a wonderful thing on how you travel with your marijuana. So if you go to an airport and you are at one of these 10 states that marijuana is legal, if you are traveling to a state where marijuana is legal, if you are traveling to a state where marijuana is therapeutically legal, if you're traveling to a state where marijuana is not even decriminalized, the TSA doesn't really care. It's all about realistically just where you're leaving from, because once you land, it does not matter. So here's what I'm trying to explain to y'all. If you are flying to Denver, if you are flying to the District of Columbia, if you are flying to Portland, Washington, California, you don't take marijuana on the plane. Because one, if you're in Memphis, Tennessee, we can't go up to a TSA agent and check in our marijuana because it's not legal here. But this is the weird part about it.
But if I'm flying back from, let's just say Denver
or Los Angeles or here or there, and you purchase it legally, and you cannot take over 13 grams of concentrates. You cannot take over 28 grams of flour. You have to have your vaporizer and your smoking utensil. It has to, if you have a glass pipe, it can't have any residue from smoked marijuana in it. If you have flour, it can't be like any burnt, blunt, like half a blunt that you smoked half on. It's got to be fresh. It's got to be unused. And it also has to be zipped up where it's not going to make the whole cabin smell like a big doobie. Okay. They will throw it away if it is too pungent. You keep it on your persons. Again, you go through the TSA in this legal place like Denver, like the District of Columbia, like Washington, wherever. And then when you get here, guess what? When you get off the airplane with your carry-on, when you walk off the plane, do you go to customs? No, you're in the United States. Do you go and see a TSA agent? No, you go straight to get your luggage and then you go straight to your car and you leave. So people are trying to say, as long as you don't put it on your carry-on, then it doesn't even matter about it because...
as long as you don't put it in your check bag.
Like the check bag, yeah. Or that's what I mean. As long as you don't put it in your check-in, and the reason you want to put it in your check-in is because TSA agents do have to mess with it. And again, those are the ones that they doubly, super, triply check. So if you got a liquid and they got to pull your stuff off, kind of delaying the plane, and they got to check, and you got a little weed in there, and they're looking for bombs, that's going to tick them off. And they also say that the weed is bad for the dog sniffing bombs, believe it or not. So they don't want it in the check-in. They don't want it in your checked-in bag. Because you check it in. They want you to carry.
Where you hand it over to the TSA, and they say we're going to put it on your plane for you.
Mm-hmm. Now, I have never had this happen, so I called a friend of mine up, Leanne. She's out west, and I said, because I know she travels a lot. I said, so have you ever left there and you've had too much and they've taken some away? And she's like, yeah, once I had like a few grams over and they took a couple grams out and threw it in the trash and then rolled it back up, put it in the, I was like, that is so weird to me. But again, we live in Memphis. They live in California. And if you want to sit there and wonder, is Hardin really talking about how to travel with marijuana on a sports radio show? Of course I am. I'm trying to help all the athletes out there not get arrested so we can watch them play. It's the finals, man. Like, this is coming up right around the corner. It's really close. I mean, we're at the semis, and then we're going to have the conference finals, and then it's going to be the real deal, Holyfield, and we're going to have the NBA finals, and we don't want anybody else to get busted, even if it's a person that lost, and now they're on vacation, like D'Angelo Russell, By the way, did that help anybody out there?
Oh, it helped me a ton.
67129. Do you feel like you're educated now? Do you feel better?
Very educated.
Now, I hope that this wasn't like a letter that they sent to me like to help get y'all arrested. But that'd be a heck of a ploy. No, I don't think it is. But yeah, they said that the person actually even said at the TSA, he said, I hate to say it, but, maybe here in Memphis or, but like in Denver and stuff, like the weed thing obviously is not a big deal. They just legalized mushrooms. Now, back to more Hardinwood stories, because Hardinwood is one of my favorite things in the whole wide world. And to remind you, on Hardinwood today, not on Hardinwood, but coming up after Hardinwood, Isaac Simpson is coming on to talk about the biggest and most important things, period. I think you know what they are. And right now is the biggest, most important things. Is it the Memphis Tigers? In this city, is there anything bigger and more important than Penny Hardaway and high school recruiting these young men? I mean, is that not crazy how we've gone back? Like, remember when we got the NBA? And I remember people saying, yeah, Tigers are always going to be there and we're going to love the Tigers and stuff. But, now we really won't care as much about the high school athletes, because we'll care about the Tigers when they're there, and we'll also focus on this NBA team. Please, man, now it seems like high school sports has gotten bigger than it's ever been. Am I missing something? Because I feel like high school sports are actually like growing in popularity, where at one point nobody cared really about high school sports other than the parents of the children.
Well, now, I mean, I can see anybody's highlight tape at the tips of my fingers. I'm one click away from seeing James Wiseman do his thing. I'm one click away from seeing any of these guys highlight reels. And heck, now with the AAU circuit, I can actually watch some of those games online. Yes, I can actually watch them play these tournaments.
Heck, in the McDonald's, you'll watch that game. It's actually, it's aired.
It's on ESPN.
Yeah, it's all kinds of stuff. That's awesome. Now, there's been some really, really strange things going around the Cubs. I learned a few things this week from the Cubs. One, Addison Russell, he was booed by fans in his return from, of course, his domestic violence suspension. Absolutely should have been booed, and I think that's going to continue to happen. Melissa Reedy is the woman who the child with Russell, and she's also the one that was abused. So I just wish her the best of luck, and I hope life is going okay for her and her child, and I hope things work out. We'll see what happens with him if he ever returns. By the way, Russell finished the night 0 for 3 with a walk and a strikeout. However, the Cubs did win in walk-off fashion in the bottom of the 11th, 3-2. So there is that. Now, the other thing about the Cubs that I learned, and this is something that I am, I don't feel embarrassed for not knowing, because I'm actually proud I didn't know. I wouldn't want to know something like that. But did you see the Doug Glanville? I didn't see this live, but have you seen it on Twitter?
I've seen it and read it.
You've read all about it. Now, can I ask you, that symbol, did you know that was a racist symbol? If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a Chicago fan been banned for life over an alleged white power gesture. Cubs president of baseball operations, Theo Epstein, he came out late on Wednesday and said the team identified the fan. They banned him from Wrigley Field for life. I do have to say, they said they've came out and made it clear how egregious and unacceptable that behavior is. There's no place in it for our society, in baseball, and certainly no place for it in Wrigley Field. Very well said by Theo Epstein. But this is what I do honestly want to ask y'all. And I wonder, because CJ Hurt was the first out of about 40 other people that I asked that has actually knew that.
Yeah, I somewhat remember him explaining it to me a couple of months ago, or maybe even like about 6 to a year ago, about it, like when it first started to come out, and then I just completely forgot about it. But he did explain to me kind of what it means and how it can be perceived, even though most people just think of it as a normal hand gesture, a normal thing most of us have done all of our lives to signal something.
But that's the thing, is this is where this is what I'm saying. This is why you got to be like vigilant. You got to stay on top of things, and you got to keep, learning. Because again, when I was a child, you did that and you'd like put it on your leg. And if the dude looked, you punch him. It was a game. You know what I'm saying? And then plus, heck, when I showed that to somebody, I had one guy over at Memphis tell me, "In that orange mound?" And I'm like, no, it's that, Anyway, what I'm just saying is, it's just, there's no place for all this. And if that dude literally was doing that, I'm glad that he's suspended for life. But then the other
watching
thing
the
is,
video, did it look like that's why what he was doing, or was he playing the game?
See, was
he playing the circle game?
That's why I was hoping that at least they asked the gentleman, did a little bit of research, maybe checked his Facebook. Now, if he's following all these white supremacist websites, or he's a racist,
screw him.
Unequivocally get rid of him. But if he's an idiot like me and had no idea and thought he was playing a joke, like, hey, if you look, I get to punch you, Doug. No, that, like, in a friendly way. Well, then I feel bad that he's banned for life, and he's getting like pummeled for no reason. So, like, I don't know what's in his heart, because I don't know the man. I just sure as heck hope so. Like, I want somebody in Chicago to go and do some serious investigative reporting and find out, like, is this guy part of a white supremacy group? Is this guy, like, does he feel like he was, does he feel like a victim, or does he feel like, dude, I got busted? You know what I'm saying? Like, because if he was doing a white supremacy, like, signal, I think, you'd be able to figure out that pretty quickly after talking to him. At least that's what I would think. Maybe, I don't know. All I know is that this world is getting more difficult and difficult to navigate, and I feel just sorry for you youngins. Now, I get to talk about some of the weirdest stuff that I've ever seen in my life. I can't believe I'm about to tell you this. Did you hear about Dennis Rodman?
What did he do this time?
Holy moly. So if you go to Frontier Western Store at 5880 Goodman Road down in Olive Branch, I send y'all down there all the time. And I tell y'all, the reason you go down there, they have the largest boot showroom on the planet. They got stuff for women. They got stuff for kids. They got stuff for you. I'm telling you, whoever you are, whatever you do, work boots, dress boots, for play, they got you. Whatever size, whatever style, they have you. 5880 Goodman Road. Check out Frontier Western Store and go to frontierwesternstore.com. But don't do what Dennis Rodman did, please. If you go to Frontier Western Store and you do what Dennis Rodman did, I have to feel like you're going to get arrested. I really, really, really feel like you're going to have to get arrested. And here's what I'm trying to say, and the reason I'm saying this. Because do you know what Dennis Rodman did? Which makes no sense. Dennis Rodman, I thought, was rich. Like, is Dennis Rodman broke? Because Dennis Rodman and 2 other women and 1 other man, so you got 4 people, has had, now, like, they like to brag. They're like, we're used to celebrities. Like, Dennis Rodman did not, like, we didn't get so stuck with Dennis Rodman that we were like, oh, I got to talk to him and see him. But Dennis Rodman went in there, was trying to get all the people who worked there to pay attention to him. And that way, the 2 girls and the other guy could steal stuff out of the store. Dude, it's all on surveillance video. I retweeted it at Johnny_radio. This is how stupid they are, by the way. Rodman goes in there, talks to all the people that work there, is trying to get their attention. Then he starts going and hanging out with this crystal ball. Like, it's this huge crystal. And Dennis walks over to it and says that he's going to put it up on a dolly and that he's going to buy it. And this crystal ball is like $2,500. And they're like, yeah, well, we're not selling it. It's actually artwork. And while he's telling them that he wants to buy this $2,500 crystal piece of artwork, and they're telling him, no, it's not for sale. It's part of the store. His accomplices are sticking yoga pants. Like, how expensive can yoga pants really be? Put it this way.
I don't know about you, but
yeah, I know
the missus has gone to Lululemon and places like that with come back with yoga pants, and I've been kind of upset at that bill.
Well, I could see you being a little upset. Now, $500 might be a lot for people like me and you, but it shouldn't be for Dennis Rodman because in his had less than $500 worth of clothes. But guess what? They broke the $2,500 crystal. Rodman breaks a $2,500 piece of crystal. His friends steal just under $500 worth of yoga pants. Then Dennis Rodman starts acting like a jerk and screaming at the people in the store, and they all walk out. So he goes in there and destroys a $2,500 piece of artwork, and they steal $500 worth of clothes. What are you on, Dennis Rodman? I thought you were like the guy who was going to save us from Kim Jong-un. Aren't you like working with DIA, or was that part of it too? Dennis, you're nuts.
I don't know what's going on in that man's mind, and I'm not going to waste my time to try to figure it out.
Dude, in all honesty, like, this is the dude that was it not like 6 months ago where I'm not kidding with you. I was flipping through the channels, and it was like one of those news channels, and they were like, Dennis Rodman is coming on next, the foremost authority on Kim Jong-un. I'm like, what? That's serious?
They friends.
And now we're finding out the guy who's like talking probably with Mike Pompeo and teaching Donald Trump about how Kim Jong-un is also out at Venice Beach stealing stuff, and he's a drunk moron. By the way, you know you're going to hear a lot about this. You know why? Because Dennis Rodman is just got arrested for theft. And you know what happens when you get arrested when you're on probation? You usually go to jail. Oh, that's right. Y'all probably didn't know that he was on probation. Yeah, don't you remember he just got a DUI a few months back? So Dennis Rodman, who is already out on probation, gets drunker than Cooter Brown and goes out there, breaks a $2,500 piece of crystal, and him and his friends steal a bunch of yoga clothes. Weirdest story I've ever seen in my life. Realistically, one of the weirdest all time. The other thing that was sad, I got to go to Isaac Simpson here in just a second, but Jason Pierre-Paul, he broke his neck. That is sad. He's blown off his finger. That is sad. He will not get to play with the Bucks next year. That is sad. But you know what else is sad? Did you see the damage he did to that $350,000 Ferrari he was driving? And by the way, I know he makes a lot of money, but Jason Pierre-Paul is so, like, he's got it like that to where he has a $350,000 Ferrari. Wowzers. By the way, this is very interesting. The wreck happened on I-95 at 2:38 a.m. They said they did not check whether he was under the influence of drugs or alcohol. They did not test for them either. Do you believe the cops did him a solid?
I don't know. I thought reports had said that there was no evidence of it, so that
it says it says, despite the curious time of the accident, officers say that they did not suspect JPP was under the influence of alcohol or drugs, so he was not tested for either at the scene or at the hospital. So just was going to throw that out there, but I will tell you one thing, that is his Ferrari, $350,000 Ferrari, it's dead. It ain't coming back. But we will be back in 1 minute. And you know who's coming with us? My man, Isaac Simpson. Get ready, Tiger fans. We're talking Tiger hoops, Tiger recruits, and it's all coming next right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 87.7 FM.
Where Memphis comes for real sports talk.